Greater Duty Free had become a massive tax-free shopping mall, conveniently located along the route to Suvarnabhumi Airport. It was a prime stop for tourists and guided tour groups, with multiple buses arriving each week. The location also made it easy to travel to Don Mueang Airport. During the holiday season, the mall was especially crowded with tourists. Right now, it was beautifully decorated for Christmas and the upcoming New Year, with sparkling lights, a grand Christmas tree, and festive decorations in every corner. The decorations downstairs look so pretty. I want to go for a walk, Mevika said. She was in a small office on the 7th floor of Greater Duty Free. Normally, the two of them had a special office in the main Greater Duty Free office building, but they also needed a workspace inside the mall itself. This smaller office was used for overseeing operations, solving any issues, and occasionally meeting with staff. Since they were both responsible for managing the mall, they shared this space when working on site. Let's finish handing out the wedding invitations first, then I'll take you for a walk. We have so much to take care of before the wedding, Awarin replied with a smile as she reviewed the documents in her hand. You keep bringing up the wedding so casually, Mevika murmured, blushing as she hugged Awarin's arm and leaned closer. Are we really about to get married? Am I really going to be your bride? And I'll be yours too, Awarin said, resting her chin on her fiancé's head. They had been together for nearly 5 years now. From the beginning, they had promised that if they reached their 5th anniversary, they would get married. That moment had finally arrived, on a trip to Oriana's resort in Koh Samui. They had proposed to each other. There was no grand surprise proposal, just a natural step forward in their relationship. They had talked about marriage since the early days of dating. And after 4, almost 5 years together, it simply felt right. Their last beach date had been the perfect moment for both of them to pop the question at the same time. A wedding this big is definitely going to make headlines, Mevika said with a smile. We've been together for almost 5 years, and you're still not used to people talking about us. Awarin laughed. As a power couple in the business world, they had been in the spotlight ever since they publicly announced their relationship. Their impressive backgrounds had drawn attention, and they became a well-loved same-sex couple, admired by many. Whenever there was an opportunity, they also supported LGBTQ+ events and campaigns. Over the years, the media buzz had settled down, except during major events. But they remained a beloved couple, seen as role models for many, and soon, their wedding news would likely spread far and wide again. The wedding was set for Valentine's Day next year, just 3 months away. There was no need to stress over the venue. Oriana Grand was ready to open all its halls for them, and they had chosen the most luxurious ballroom for their celebration. They also planned to set up a cozy outdoor area with drinks and a food corner on the small lawn beside the venue. I'm used to it, Mevika replied, reaching for a magazine that had just been delivered by a staff member. It was a fashion magazine featuring the two of them on the cover. They had already appeared on 4 business magazine covers, and this was their second major fashion magazine feature. The cover had a striking black and white concept, sexy yet sweet. Awarin wore black, while Mevika wore white, creating a visually perfect balance. Beyond magazine covers, they had also done over 10 interviews for various media outlets and social platforms throughout the past 5 years, and with their wedding coming up, the spotlight on them was only going to shine brighter. They always tried to focus on work-related questions, talking about their experiences, how they collaborated, and their journey as business partners. Discussions about their relationship were kept as a secondary topic, though they sometimes shared their views on supporting same-sex love. I think after we announce our wedding, we might get asked to do a magazine cover in wedding dresses, One magazine even joked about it. Before, Mevika said, "No time for that, we're way too busy." Awarin replied with a smile, placing the finished documents on her desk. "Oh, really?" Mevika looked at her as she walked closer. "All right, let's take a break. I want to see the Christmas tree," Awarin said, wrapping an arm around her girlfriend's waist. "Yay," Mevika cheered excitedly. 10 minutes later, the two of them strolled through the grand central hall of Greater Duty Free. The space was open, bright, and beautifully designed. Elegant escalators led up to different floors, while the walls were lined with massive glass panels, decorated with festive ornaments. Luxury brand stores were organized into different sections across each level. Alongside spa and wellness services, on the ground floor, a massive supermarket catered to shoppers looking for premium goods. "It's beautiful," Mevika said, gazing up at the towering Christmas tree in front of them. "Yeah, really beautiful," Awarin agreed, looking up at the tree's shining top before tilting her head back to admire the high ceiling, adorned with twinkling lights. It had been over 5 years since they first competed in the auction to win this project. After winning the bid, Greater Duty Free was built from the ground up, and once completed, Superior and Oriana took over its management. Their contract from that time had almost reached the 5-year mark only. 3 years remained before the lease expired, and a new bidding process would begin. They had been attached to Greater Duty Free since the very first day it opened. They both wanted to continue managing it, but the future was uncertain. Would they still be here together when the next bid came around? Or would things change? No, the real news was that the current government re-elected for a second term after the last election, 5 years ago, and the recent one that just passed, was discussing a restructuring plan. They were considering allowing multiple companies to take part in managing Greater Duty Free in the next contract period. Many businesses were now paying close attention to this development, whether or not they would continue overseeing Greater Duty Free together. One thing was certain: even if they no longer managed this place side by side, they would still hold hands and walk through life together. To Awarin and Mevika, that was what truly mattered. The chandelier lights sparkled against the grand white ballroom of Oriana Grand Hotel. Elegant fabric draped beautifully across the ceiling, while round tables filled with guests surrounded the room. Applause echoed through the hall as the two brides walked hand in hand down the red carpet, making their way to the stage. The formal ceremony began. Important figures from both families and many distinguished guests had gathered to witness this moment of love. From the day they met, brought together by the right timing and the right circumstances, they had built their relationship step by step. This was fate. Awarin and Mevika were getting married. Looking back, they had been happy together, and their relationship had always been strong. Nothing would change. Nothing would be different. The one thing that would always remain tightly bound and unshaken was their love for each other. Two lucky young women who fell in love each other. May, wo ai nai.